Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Meet the YouTube channel called Yuri Jackson Become Like Us to Be Saved. The channel, which is run by someone who can see and talk to people who aren't really there, is also running a de facto cult that's run by someone who has threatened to bang some educational institutes, if you catch my drift, and eventually led to their possible demise. So join me as we explore both Jackson and Yuri's channel and our little feud. But before I tell you that story, I need to tell you another story. If you already know about the plot of Doki Doki Literature Club, skip to the time shown on screen. Otherwise, keep watching, because yes, this is 100% relevant to later on. Although I should say, you do need to be quite mentally mature to watch this video, because it does go into some quite dark topics that I wouldn't really want my Skylanders audience seeing. So, if you don't have that, then click off now. So, Doki Doki Literature Club is your typical anime dating game. There are 4 girls. Sayori, who's the ditzy airhead, Natsuki, who's a tsundere character, who also doubles up as the character who's technically 18, which caters to pedophiles, Yuri, who's a nervous busty chick, and then there's Monika, the club president. 3 of which you can date, them being Natsuki, Yuri, and Sayori. And you can write poems to choose which girl you date. Also, you can make choices which change what path you go down. And oh no, she's depressed. Oh well, we helped her out now, so she'll be A-okay for the festival. Oh, and if you think we're going too fast, then don't worry, because we don't need to know the plot super in depth. Just a more brief overview, so don't be too worried if you're not understanding all of it. Your character then goes to sleep. Morning, cunt! Goes to school. Monika then does a cheeky bit of foreshadowing because she needs to get at least a bit of use out of that English degree. A file with this image goes into your game folder. Oh dear. And then you go to her house and see her hanging around? Look guys, I'm trying really bloody hard to make sure this video won't get age restricted. Granted, it probably will anyway. But hey, we can try at least. Next up, the game restarts, but then gets super glitchy. And all the girls, who are still alive, have 4 more pronounced traits. For example, Natsuki, who was formerly only referenced to have a somewhat strict father, now has a father who is very neglectful and abusive, who barely feeds her, if ever. And oh, oopsie daisy, you might want to just put that back on, I'm sure she'll be fine. Oh dear lord. Yuri, on the other hand, goes from someone who has only ever alluded to self-harm in poems to it being shown in-game. Not showing it here for the same age restriction reasons as before, of course, and then she stabs herself. Quite a few times. And then she dies. Natsuki then comes in, vomits, refuses to elaborate, like a true Sigma. Monika then comes out, deletes everything, moves the classroom to space. Oh yeah, Monika is sentient and has admin privileges, so you finish the game, delete her character, and then you go back to the classroom. One last time. Now, there are 2 endings at this point. If you played through the game as you were probably expected to, which is just going through the game normally without backtracking or anything like that, Sayori at this point becomes self-aware. Monika then deletes her, despite being deleted herself. Yeah, I don't know how that works either. And then the credits roll. Or if you went down one girl's path, kept on going, and then reloaded the game right before Sayori gets unalived, and then do this for each girl, Sayori is still self-aware, but doesn't go batshit insane, and you get the good ending. So, now that you know all of this, let's get into why it's all relevant to Yuri Jackson. So, first off, as you might have noticed, the channel icon is a picture of Yuri. And let me just say, this is not just indicative of a minor enjoyment of the character. To give you an idea of the type of channel this is, the first video of theirs I saw was of them destroying some stuff with a hammer. Granted, this video has been lost to time as they deleted it, but someone on Discord showed me an old archived screenshot of their old channel, which proves its existence. Now, one thing which you may have noticed throughout the video is that I've been referring to the person running this channel as they so far. You may be wondering why. Well, what if I told you that there are actually 2 people running this channel? But who's the second? Well, it's Yuri. That's right, Yuri from Doki Doki Literature Club. Now granted, you might have noticed something. Yuri doesn't actually exist.
Anyway, why not have Yuri talking to the camera then? Hey Yuri, do you want to tell him anything? In case you guys didn't hear her for the first, she said, "Please stop bullying us."
This is what made me go from mildly curious to hyper-fixated on the strangest channel I think I've ever seen. Unfortunately, many of their old videos have been lost to time, but I remember this one video disturbingly well. It was a video of Yuri Jackson cutting themselves. No, not the aftermath of it, but them actually doing it. It has to have been one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen at the time, but Yuri Jackson manages to keep on pushing that envelope for me, so I wouldn't consider it the most disturbing I've ever seen anymore. So I know what you're all probably thinking. Why did they make a YouTube channel in the first place? And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where the weird culty shit comes into play, because he wanted to spread the word of being quote-unquote saved. This is something that Yuri told Jackson about. Yeah, I know, it's all very confusing. So basically, the Yuri he thinks he sees and exists but doesn't actually exist told Jackson about being saved, and then Jackson's telling it to everyone else. Okay? Okay. Tell you what, I'll just play a clip of them describing it. And while I have tried to edit this audio to make it as bearable as possible, their mic is absolutely terrible. But hey ho, here we goddamn go.
Hey guys, as you guys may already know, because we've saved thousands of people already, right Yuri? That's right, we have. The new reality is coming. For what is the new reality? Well, the new reality is what me and Yuri will govern. Because basically there will be no more hunger, no more pain, no more anger, no more death, no more destruction. It will just be peace, the way the world was supposed to be. Because this world, nothing will remain in this world except nature, just the way it was supposed to be.
So, for those confused or who simply couldn't understand the way they speak, from what I can understand, being saved allows you to go to this new reality where everything is perfect. And if you aren't saved, you'll still go to this new reality, but you'll be turned into something quote-unquote useful, whatever that means, for the new reality. Although if you are quote-unquote saved, you don't actually go to the new reality as a human, but you instead go there as something beyond human. Now, this is all very, very complicated, but it gets exceptionally more complicated when you realise that they think all people who were unsaved deserve to die, and then there's this lovely clip.
Hey guys, when I told people at the mental hospital about me wanting to shoot a school up, they were shocked.
And this idealization of school shooters is not a one-time thing on their channel. He said he wants to shoot up schools multiple times in the past, so I doubt it's more than just a little one-time blip. But it's all very well speculating. It's about time that we take a peek behind the channel and look into the person behind it. So I asked Yuri Jackson for an interview. He agreed and we had a little chat about time zones and what time we would both be free. We settled on a time of 7 PM for him and midnight for me on the Friday. So naturally I was staying up really goddamn late to get this done. That might not be relevant now, but it will be later, so keep that in your head. Now, last time I interviewed someone, which was in my subliminal video, I voice acted the entire interview, which was good for those who wanted the full context, and as it was at the end of the video, if you didn't care, you could just leave and not miss out on all too much. But as this is in the middle of the video, I kind of need to speed things up a little bit. so I'm only going to show you what I think of the highlights. Although in the description I will put the full interview, so if you want some extra content or just want to hear more of what Yuri Jackson has to say, then go there. Also, I might switch around the order of the messages just to make the interview flow better, as all of the ats and things on Discord make it a lot more complicated, and so, reading it in my own order makes a lot more sense. Other than that, let's get into it. Oh, he's forgotten who I am. Lovely. Oh wait, no, he's remembered now. Okay, let's get going for real this time. Why did you start making videos? I don't know, but maybe it was to save people? That and have fun doing it. That's all I can really remember. If it isn't too personal, what would you describe your family life / childhood as while you were growing up? It was good up until grade 5. I got beaten up for my voice. Then it was good again up until grade 10. I almost became a school shooter because nobody liked me. Also, for my British viewers, just to convert from grade to year, you just add 1. This isn't part of the interview, I just thought it'd help you understand some more. Would you still consider becoming a school shooter, or have you changed your mind since then? Maybe, if they hurt my mum. How would the school hurt your mum? Try to kill her, that's how. I would kill for her, the same with my soulmate. I'm a yandere, by the way. Ah, I see. Do you think it's likely that someone in your school would try to kill your mum? Maybe. Why maybe? I don't know, everyone wants me and Yuri dead. Why do you think everyone wants you two dead? I don't know. So you have no evidence to support that, it's just a theory. Yes, but I can feel it. I wish they would die, I hate everyone. For those who don't know, what is the process of being saved? Cutting 20 times. Why specifically 20? I don't know, Yuri told me. Do you have any mental health diagnoses, regardless of whether or not you believe them to be legitimate? Depressed, ADHD, and maybe BPD soon. You said that you got admitted to a mental hospital. What made you get admitted? Yes, for 2 weeks. Killing rats. Oh, and keep the killing rats thing in your brain. We'll need it for later. Does Yuri ever tell you what you should or shouldn't do? Yes. Do you ever ignore her advice? No. Or do you always follow it? Yes. So, in some of your videos you view yourself as a god. Why do you feel this way? We are gods, I don't know. If Yuri considers the ideal world to contain no death, then why would she want you to kill people, Jackson? I don't know, I find death funny, and only in death can you be saved. And the final question is there anything either Jackson or Yuri would like to say to the audience? Leave us alone, trolls. Is that all? Yes. Oh, okay then. In that case, thank you both so much for your time. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. But it was at this point I realised something. The fact he can't answer so many questions is in fact the most important answer he could possibly give, because it shows that there is in fact very little logic knocking around in his brain, and it is instead just a series of completely idiotic delusions formed by someone who has admittedly been dealt a pretty shitty hand in life and has now gone insane, with immense paranoia and seeing things that aren't really there. That sounds a bit like the description of paranoid schizophrenia, although I have absolutely no experience with this sort of thing, so don't take my experiences as gospel, but it does seem at least plausible for him to have this. And so we get into the little spat we had, which further shows the absolute insanity of this individual. Because I left a comment on one of their videos which either got deleted by him, or the video simply isn't up anymore, because I checked the comment history of both of my accounts, but I couldn't find anything. But anyway, I remember leaving a comment on one of their videos. I believe I was asking for some information or something. Anyway, a bit after I left this comment, I got a message from Yuri on Discord asking me, "Are you Savage Central?" 2 mins, 1 min, then you're blocked. Bye, troll. If you're wondering who Savage Central is, he's a YouTuber who mostly covers Doki Doki Literature Club and the community surrounding it. Now, at this point, I was absolutely dumbfounded, because Jackson said he was subscribed to me, meaning that he could see all of my videos should he wish to, and he didn't think to check the fact that my voice and his voice sound completely different because I am British and he is American, and we have completely different content styles. Also, why would Savage bother making so many videos on an alt account just in the hope of catching the one, the only Yuri Jackson out? So at this point I had been archiving for a while, and so while I was waiting in the shadows to get unbanned, I was downloading every single one of their videos, and I got to see their downfall firsthand. They would just upload loads of videos on pretty much anything, other YouTubers who made videos on them, random people on Discord they didn't like, anime, how they didn't like lewds, Roblox trolling, how they wanted to shoot up a school, and pretty much any random thought they could possibly have. So quite a smorgasbord of anything, pretty much. Now, I was getting more and more confused, watching someone spiral further and further into insanity, so I sent them a message to check if I was still blocked. And no, I was in fact unblocked, but this was in fact my fatal mistake, because this started a feud with Yuri Jackson, because they said, quote, "I saw you in the dock." Now, I did not and still do not know what the word dock means, and I doubt I ever will. But then I asked him what type of dock it was, and he said, "Okay, troll, bye," which made me absolutely furious, as I had waited ages to message Jackson and stayed up super late back when I interviewed him, making myself absolutely exhausted, and here he was, calling me a troll for simply not knowing what a bloody word meant. And then he said, "You know what it means, pedo." So not only was I a troll, but I was also a paedophile, and then I got blocked. But to be quite frank, I wanted to smack Jackson down, because I was livid at this point, waiting multiple months to be unbanned, and then getting blown off in about 10 seconds. But Jackson recently joined the Savage Central Discord server, so we had a little smackdown. He called me a pedo for liking NSFW, even though I'm not sure how he'd know if I did or I didn't. He just tends to call people he doesn't like pedos, because Yuri Jackson may as well be Keemstar's alter ego. Also, while I was having this intellectual debate, we'll call it, someone called Deminter Lockhart said, "Didn't you have to sexually manipulate a minor to cut themselves for you?" And then Jackson said, "I never cared for her," which is a bit odd to say the least, especially since he didn't deny it. Although maybe the fact he never cared for her was him denying it, I don't really know, but it's still a bit odd. I suspect this person was someone called Spider Creature who interacted on Yuri's videos a whole lot, although I don't have much evidence for that now besides this. But trust me, they commented on pretty much every video. So I mean, I don't know about any evidence for the whole sexual manipulation stuff, but hey, I just thought I should bring that up. So, after our little spat, I went to bed, and then as soon as I woke up, on a goddamn Monday, the first day of the week, I checked my messages, and what was I greeted by? Well, I was greeted by a message from Yuri Jackson, of him mutilating a rat with his bare teeth, and pulling one of the legs off it. I can't show this video on YouTube, so I'll just put some of the audio here. So, enjoy, I guess. This isn't for the faint of heart, but I need you all to grasp the sheer insanity of what's going on.
Guys, the only way you're seeing this video is on Discord or some other site, because this video cannot be seen on YouTube, because it'll be taken down ASAP. You wanna know why? Look at what I did to this mouse. Hey guys, I'm on a mouse that only has three feet and no tail. His eyes were gouged out as well too, by the way. Let's make that 2 feet. I wonder if I'll ever see this on some gore site to where people get killed and all. I actually wonder if I'll ever see myself on one of those sites. I got some rat hair in my mouth. Or mouth hair, whatever the fuck you want to call it. A perfectly skinned mouse. I'm gonna go leave this to rot for a little bit. See that? Or I'll make another video to where I use a hammer and smash this body into mush. So yeah. To anyone who gets to see this video, if you get disturbed by this video, I don't give a fuck in the slightest. And I hope you enjoyed me and my rat experiment. So yeah. Not bad actually. Not bad at all.
Oh, also, according to this Discord message, he ate the inside of the rat that he killed, which is oh so lovely. And I should point out on this video, if I'm saying a message came from Yuri Jackson and the little Discord username says Williams, that is completely normal, because Yuri Jackson changed their name to Williams to quote-unquote spy on people. I'm not joking. So, it's the same person. Now, at this point, I was enraged because he had desecrated the carcass of an innocent rat and had eaten it afterwards. So I then decided to show him the one thing that he hated. NSFW, baby! Although none of them were naked, they were still just lewds, but he got super grumpy, called me a pedo, and called anyone saying that I wasn't a pedo defender. So what is Yuri Jackson or Yuri Jackolina doing these days? Well, they've recently invented a new method of being saved, because now you don't have to cut yourself 20 times. This is the modern age, people, the age of convenience, because Yuri Jackson has decided to put his blood and urine into their drinks, which he does to non-consenting people. For example, he was doing that in a smoothie/coffee shop that some of his classmates were buying from. Jesus Christ. Honestly though, I just made this video to document the sheer insanity of Yuri Jackson. And as much as I despise this person, believe me I do, I wish that they go to an actual mental hospital rather than a shitty one, because there's loads of evidence out there on the internet, and according to my interview, his mum knows about the whole saving thing. And his mother heard him talk about this kind of stuff and didn't stop it. As in Dirt Thieves podcast, which I had a whole lot of trouble searching for because he spells his goddamn name wrong everywhere. But his mother was yelling about their YouTube channel and was talking about beer or cops or something. Either the audio quality was too poor or their accents were too thick for me to understand, so I'll just play the audio. And also Dirt Thief starts messing around with his podcast settings, so I apologise for this being so difficult to understand. But it's important to play anyway.
Fix problems, which is, I think you can agree, a good idea, right? Okay. Yeah. Busy working. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna check podcast. Check the podcast on the channel. I did not think it would take a few minutes to get my feet out. That was fun. So, I guess that's the end of that. So I guess that's the end of this episode. I guess it was a shorter episode.
So, as you can see, Jackson quite obviously doesn't have the best home life. That coupled with their mental illness, with one of them quite obviously affecting the other, as she seems to get more visibly angry after mentioning his YouTube channel. And his mum wasn't a fan when Jackson told her about being saved, so it's possible that caused greater resentment from his mother to him, therefore resulting in his declining mental health, and the cycle continues. Oh, also, turns out, you know that clip from before?
when I told people at the mental hospital about me wanting to shoot a school up, they were shocked.
Well, it turns out this was a lie, as they never actually told the psych ward this, unless they were lying here and telling the truth in the video, so who even knows what's real with them anymore, honestly. Anyway, I just want to document this little time capsule in the DDLC community. But I also want to make this video to say that if you're a member of the Canadian Police Department or know someone who is, then maybe just check out Jackson, or at least tell someone, because they're immensely concerning, and to be quite honest, I'm worried about them doing something terrible. And I was thinking about filing a police report, but I didn't want to get myself arrested for filing a false one if they deemed it a non-issue. And apparently they can't do anything unless they know someone's address anyway, so I guess we can't really do anything regardless. Thanks for watching though. I could have gone into more detail, but for the sake of brevity and keeping the video flowing at least semi-well, I've decided to not cover everything. But despite all this nonsense, the DDLC community is genuinely one of the best communities, because it has a really strong community spirit. Even despite all the arguments and the things people are generally doing, they're still willing to hear each other out generally and make up afterwards, even if they do argue a day later. So maybe this is just me, but the concoction of a dwindling community size, a weirdly dedicated modding scene, and a heaped tablespoon of autism has created something genuinely beautiful. Like a car crash. But I do so hope this old dog keeps limping onwards. Oh, and they deleted all of their videos. Well, most of them anyway. But then, right when I was finishing up this script, they made a video of themselves eating poo and drinking urine. Although I only have proof of them eating poo, but I can confirm the urine one did exist. I just couldn't archive it. So the video was going to end here initially, but the situation escalated even more than I could possibly have imagined really recently. So I'm going to try and summarize it. So you remember earlier I mentioned about them poisoning people in the drink shop? Well, there was a video of them actually doing the poisoning of the people, not just preparing the water, but them putting it in people's drinks when they weren't looking. I couldn't archive it in time before Jackson deleted it because they only had it up for a day, but trust me, it was definitely there. So at this point I was genuinely mortified because this wasn't just a funny haha crazy internet does a crazy internet. Real people were getting affected now. So I discussed on Discord the idea of using an IP tracker, although I still had and still have no clue of how they actually work, to get their IP, get their rough area, find their school, and report them to their school for the sake of protecting those in their school. And Yuri Jackson was in the chat. They changed their name to Williams at this time. Which I knew they were in this chat, by the way, because I thought if they were threatened a little bit, they might stop harming people. But the day after this was the only video on their channel, and in it they said that they planned to kill themselves, as their plan to shoot up a school had ended up falling through. And honestly, as horrible as this may sound, I truly wish they went through with it. Although, because of the argument we had beforehand about emailing their school, part of me does wonder if this was just a ploy to get the Discord off their backs. Only time will tell. Now, I actually didn't know that they planned to shoot up a school anymore. I thought they, outgrew that phase. And were only going to do it if they thought they were going to hurt their mum, but I guess they thought they were going to hurt their mum, maybe. Although they also say killing's fun. I don't know, it's all very confusing. But anyway, they just couldn't get hold of a gun, as mentioned in the video. Which makes me very, very thankful that they aren't in America. But if they are truly dead, which I sincerely hope, then we can all be happy that it didn't progress too far, and let it remain a lesson in what happens when we fail to pay attention to something or someone when it requires action, and that we shouldn't let things bubble and fester because eventually the lid will blow off. Anyway, I'd like to close this video with something the Savage Central Discord made on Dirt Thief.
Baby bet, ayy, couple racks, ayy, couple Grammys on him, couple plaques, ayy, that's a fact, ayy, throw it back, ayy, and this one is for the champion, ain't lost since I been
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I love talking to minors. Put me in jail.